Get social with us. Follow us on Instagram at Goodtaste TV.
Time for a shout out to our sponsors. In the unofficial world of deli greatness, Ziggy Gruber wears the triple crown. This owner and chef of the 25-year-old Kenny and Ziggy's New York delicatessen restaurant and bakery in Houston has run 3 very successful delis. He's the 3rd generation in his family to own a deli. And Texas is the 3rd U.S. coast where he's educated everyone on how life without a great deli is really no life at all. His triple wins have made him the #1 deli in the nation, and he's in Houston. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Good Taste for the Soul. I'm Tanji Patton. One of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast is to have the ability to explore different topics a little deeper and to perhaps get to know some people a little better. You know, when we produce the TV series that you've likely seen, we have less than 30 minutes to tell a lot of stories of different places and people in that time. And often I meet people that I would love to have the luxury of time with to get to know them a little bit better. Well, Bun B definitely fits that definition. If you're a fan of rap music, you know him. If you live in Houston, you know him for not only his music, but also his incredible give back reputation to the community. He even taught a class at Rice University. He's an interesting man, a very successful man. And I could tell the first time we met over at his restaurant, Trill Burgers, you need to go when you're in Houston. He was an interesting guy, and he had a certain spark about him in his smile, and you could tell he had a very warm heart. In any event, I wanted to get to know him better. I'm excited to get to talk to you again. And it hadn't been that long ago, but it seems like you've been incredibly busy between the last time we talked. And it was at Trill. You guys had been open, maybe a few months or so when we came out there for the show. So bring me up to date. What's the latest on Trill?
Well, the location you came to is closing in on its 2-year anniversary in June.
Wow.
So that location will have been open for 2 years. We're very proud of that. Of course, we're extending our relationship with the NRG and the Texans. So we just presented the burgers and our new addition, the Trill Tenders. We presented those at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. We're currently getting ready to open 3 new locations in the city of Houston. That the first one should be open, I would say, within the next. I'll give myself a little latitude. I'll say a little, maybe within a 30-day window, somewhere between Monday and 30 days after. But we're excited about expanding as a brand. We're excited about a couple of new collaborations that we have tentatively down the pipeline. I can't talk about them, but last year we had Godzilla. Last year we had Levi's. We had some amazing collaborations, and we're excited about where we're going this year. But I'm most excited about getting these tenders out to the world. Our chicken tender concept is amazing. It's actually something that we didn't intend to do. Good friends of ours in the H Wood Group in Los Angeles, they throw a chicken tender competition every year, sponsored by Heinz. And they
Oh,
asked us if we would be willing to compete, because what they do, they take 2 companies that are known for chicken dishes and 2 companies that are not known for chicken and have them compete. And so they asked us to compete, and we decided, yeah, we'd go ahead and give it a shot because they're great guys. And we ended up winning the competition and
wow.
realized, yeah, and then we realized, like, we now have a new viable product. And there was some concern about whether or not we would sell it at Trill Burgers, but we realized that Trill Tenders is a very strong and legitimate brand on its own. So we're going to do it separately. We're going to look to have at least a food truck or brick and mortar by the end of the year for that concept as well. 'Cause we're so excited about it. We presented it at the rodeo, and people just could not believe the product. It's such a sizable, chicken tender, if you
Yeah.
compare it to most fast food operations. But I mean, the moistness of the chicken, the crispiness of the skin. Chef Mike and Chef Nando have created 2 amazing sauces, and we're working on a third sauce now, which I'm really excited about because it's very, very Texan, I should say. So we're just excited about expanding not only the burger brand but our umbrella company as well. You know, we have a lot of things that we believe the public would love to be a part of, and we're excited about presenting it to them. But first things first, of course, are the burgers.
Yeah, and those are so good. And talking about sauces, the sauce you guys have on that burger, I think kind of sets it apart too. It's pretty good.
Thank you, thank you. We take
It
pride in what we
definitely
deliver.
Yeah, well, it shows, and your chef was a lot of fun too. The day we were there, I really enjoyed working with the whole team. Everybody was in such a great mood. The energy was like to the roof. It was a lot of fun. We had a
We're
great
still
time.
we're still having fun with this company. We're very young. We're excited. We see a lot of potential, and every day we come, we get new people who've never tried a burger before every single day. So we're excited to see the look on their faces, the level of service we can present to them, how they will take that message back home with them. So every day it's new surprises, new customers, and new beginnings for people taking that Trail Burgers ride with us.
Well, it sounds like you're having fun. What made you decide to go into the restaurant business? It's a tough business.
It really is. It really is. I had had a food blog for at this point probably almost 12 years now, but at the time we had been operating for about 8 years or so, and my partner Premium Pete and I had both been looking for entry points into the culinary business. Like wanted to go from
Yeah.
just being fans of food and reporters of food to actually wanting to jump into the space. But I knew out of the door I did not want to do a full service, full menu restaurant because it would be a grand undertaking, and I frankly didn't have that level of experience. So I waited for the right opportunity, and my good friends Nick Scurfield and Andy Wynn, who had been working in the food business together, presented me with this burger. I tried it. I thought it was, one of the best things I'd ever had, far and away. They fine tuned it. I tried it again. I was like, "What do you guys want to do? I'm all in. I am ready to do this." And we put our first pop up on in Houston, and people took to it. I was very concerned that maybe this burger just tastes good to me. Well, what if everyone else will like? Because I've got some very weird palate choices, as some would say. But everybody ended up loving the burger as much as I did, and we jumped in, both feet. And it was
Yeah.
rough in the beginning, but we really believed in the product and the brand, and we stuck with it. And eventually, it's become the company that everyone sees and recognizes today. And we think this company has long legs. We really do.
Yeah, I would agree. So when you go to Trill, what do you order? What does the Bun B order look like?
Well, we make it very easy for anyone to order at Trill. We only present one burger. That's the OG burger. We do it as a single patty, a double patty, or a triple patty, and you can get it in beef or vegan. But that's pretty much it. We have a very simple menu, very easy to replicate for people, very easy to be consistent with, very easy to make sure that people get their burgers fresh and hot as soon as they get in their hands. And I personally, I like mine with everything on it for the most part. Sometimes I'll ask for no onions. Some days I'm just not up for the texture of the onions. But then when I don't get the onions, I miss the flavor. So I feel like I've still missed out on having it. But I would ask that if anyone comes to Trill Burgers, because I'm not a big fan of onions or pickles personally, but I would ask for people if they do come in to try at least one burger with everything on it, because the flavor combination really, really tells a great story. It really does. And
Yeah.
I mean, when I first ate
Yeah,
it, I
I
remember telling my
agree.
wife, I was like, "Hey, I just tried this burger. I think I'm going to be a part of the company." And she was like, "Well, what's on the burger?" I was like, "Well, it's onions and pickles." And she was like, "Wait, you don't eat onions or pickles?" I was like, "I did today, and I'm really glad I did." Because I want to make sure that anything I sell to people that I've tried. So I mean, I'm not going to put my personal preferences in the way of missing out on a great experience. Being around these chefs who are classically trained, the way they put together food is very unique. And things that I thought I wouldn't like, things that I was like, well, I've never eaten that, or said I would never try that. I've tried those and more. And they are really, really sound recipes. I realize now why chefs put certain ingredients in certain dishes. Even if it's not something I personally prefer, it does lend itself to the dish. And I had been so anti-onion for years, and now I was like, okay, well, let's try French onion dip soup, and let's try this and let's try that. So having this company and having to try all of these things first has actually really opened me up to food even more than I was already engaged in. And I just love everything this burger brings to the table for me.
Yeah, they're very good. If people haven't been to Trill, it is
Yes.
worth the line, it's worth the trip. It's an experience. It's an experience. So I'm curious, when you don't eat at Trill, where do you like to go eat in Houston? Do you have a favorite, one or two?
Yeah, technically for me, the best lunch in town is probably Navy Blue, which is Aaron Bluedorn's second restaurant here in Houston. It's located in the Rice Village Shopping Center. It's amazing. It's largely seafood based, but they've got other great dishes as well. And that's a great place for my wife and I to go and stop. And it's right around the corner from Trill. It's literally 5 minutes away from Trill Burgers. So on the off-brand day, and believe me, this is not often. On the off-brand day where we're in the city and my wife doesn't want a burger for lunch, because I don't think anybody's eaten more Trill burgers than my wife Queenie. I mean, there's for her, it's very hard to get her to not have that for lunch. But when she doesn't have that for lunch, that's typically where we'll go. And I'm also a big fan of Chef G over at Street to Kitchen. Um, I had no idea what a true Thai dining experience was, and now I can't just stop having it. And I recently went to Thailand about 6 months ago, and what I ate there was a lot closer to what Chef G is doing than it was for your typical fast food Thai, pad Thai kind of dish. So I'm really
Yeah.
glad that she's making really great authentic Thai food. I'm a huge Southeast Asian food guy, so rice, noodles, I'm all in for it. Those are two great places I would recommend. But also the Drake's Hollywood, because
Yeah.
they're over there. They're making that great spicy rigatoni, which I love so much. It's a very popular dish right now. Um, and I'm just really excited about the food scene here. There's so many great things. Ryan over at Riel doing great things. Katami, obviously one of the best restaurants in my opinion in the world. I could go on and on about recommendations, but and
No,
those are all
I'm
favorites of mine.
I'm with you on Houston. I think for years it has been underrated in terms of how fantastic the dining scene there is. You can get food from all over the world and different representations of different regions, you know. It's the best. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
It's hard to get a bad meal.
It really is because
It's so
Houston
good. You
Houston is just so diverse and so many cultures, and that just lends
Mhm.
itself over to great food. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I was looking a little bit, reading stuff about you online that you've done, and I stumbled across your YouTube cooking videos with your family. Those
That's that
are great.
that was back during the my granddaughter was very young, and this was around the time that Vine was popular. And so a lot of the Vine videos that were going viral were very quick cut, sharp editing, and very fast paced. But I kind of missed out on the Vine movement, but started shooting videos when Instagram started doing videos. And it was like you could start it and then pick it up and connect and connect. So I was just like, let's try something fun. Let's do something different. And we started to get a lot of really good feedback about it. It would be my wife's recipe. She and I would do some of the cooking. I would do all the narrating, and we would just have a really, really great time. But it's all the wife. Like all the cooking in my house is the wife.
Oh,
I'm at best a sous chef here, at best. But
well,
we had fun. We had real fun with it.
they were fun to watch because they were so real. You know what I mean? You're the little girl with juice break, or I mean, it was like everybody could relate to everything you were watching on that screen.
And we put it together. I think they're like 60 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, because I think Instagram was limited initially to a 60-second video.
Yeah.
So we had to do that's why everything is very fast paced and very quick cuts and editing. And my granddaughter, that was when she first really got into cooking. She's like a really, really good cook now. But that was her first years of like really wanting to be in the kitchen. And obviously she couldn't do it unsupervised. So we had to be a part of that experience. Chicken pot pie, the Tay edition. Tay Tay. Chicken, vegetables, cream of chicken soup, pie crust, pie pan, personal. Oh, and she bought this to drink. Clean your chicken. Cut the chicken. Season it. See, she got that tonus. I raised her right. Butter your skillet. Try to get slime out of a braid.
So I wanted to ask you about when we were first met in Trill and it was a crazy atmosphere and everything, we were talking about the burgers. There's this fabulous photo of you and your wife, very contemporary, on the wall. And I'll never forget when I asked you who the woman was in that photo. You loved your burgers. You talked very animated about Trill, but something came in your eyes when your wife was brought up. Tell me about your wife.
Queenie is the best thing I would say that's ever happened to me. Look, for everyone out there that's married, marriage is not perfect. Marriage takes a lot of work. But there's absolutely no one I would want to do that work with than her. There's no one I would want to celebrate the highs and joys of my life, and there's no one I would rather walk through the lowest moments of my life with. I learned so much from her. I've learned so much with her. We've learned so much together, and I've allowed her voice and her ideas to be seen and heard. And because of that, my businesses are better off, my home life is better off, our relationship is better off. And we try to lead as an example to other people that look, these things can work if you want them to work. And again, I'm an artist by nature. I can be very temperamental, I can be very moody, I can be very headstrong, and I'm a self-made man. So I always want to and I would always want to try my idea and my way of doing things first. But after years of partnership and marriage, I just realized, you know what? We'll try it her way, right? 8 times out of 10, it typically goes right if we try it her way. And if not, then we can always backdoor and try something else. But I've learned that it's a lot better if she's wrong and I'm right than if I'm wrong and she's right. But I mean, I got very, very lucky. I married a great mother, a great grandmother, a great wife, sister, cook, um, you know, homekeeper, all of these things and more. My wife is always of the frame of mind of like, if you can get us a house, I'll make it a home. It was always that thing. It's like, you make sure we have the house, and I'll make sure it's a home. And
How many
today I'm in
years?
my beautiful backyard. Right now, we've been married for 22 years, but we've been together for 27 years now.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, she's beautiful, and you just lit up as just like you did right now.
I
It's a
lucked up.
it's a
My wife is Benjamin Button. My wife gets more beautiful every single day. I'm the luckiest man in the world. I really am.
oh, that's very cool. I wanted to ask you too. You are you still teaching at Rice?
I'm not. I had to stop a couple of years ago because it takes up considerable time, but and I say this
Mhm.
about education, we do not pay educators enough, even in institutions, private universities, and what have you. The work they do and the way that they sow into the next generation of people, I don't think we give them enough credit, or quite frankly, we don't take care of them good enough. And so
Mm.
the time that I was teaching at Rice University, initially was right after Pimp C had passed away, and doing music was something that I just wasn't drawn to at the time. And the opportunity to teach at Rice gave me a way to stay connected to the culture, but also give me
Mhm.
time to work my way back into music. But after about, I'd say maybe 5 or 6 years, my wife was like, we probably got to try to get back into music. And so we did that. And we've done a couple of events since, but we haven't really had the time to dedicate to the course, because it's not something you want to phone in. Education is not something that should
No.
ever be phoned in. And I want to make sure that these kids have not only my full attention, but access as well. Because I get office hours. So, there may be times before class or after class where students may want to get a deeper understanding of some things or try to talk through some things. And I want to make sure that I'm available for these kids. And unfortunately, I can't do it while I'm touring. I couldn't do
Mhm.
it while I'm running this business, traveling. That's something that you really have to center yourself. Like when I taught at Rice University during the semester, I wouldn't perform. I wouldn't do concerts. I wouldn't travel. And if I did have to travel, I would always try to be back by Sunday morning so I could go through lectures Sunday and Monday and be ready to teach first thing Tuesday. Um, a lot of these students took this course trusting my vision, my thought, and my cares and concerns for the culture, and I didn't want to let them down. A lot of them did not have the easiest entry point in hip hop culture, but they were big supporters and they just wanted a deeper understanding. And that's what this class was actually able to teach them. And I'm so glad that I took part in it. I thank Anthony Penn for even considering me for coming in and co-teaching this course with them. And I'm not sure who learned more, the kids or myself, honestly. So it's a beautiful thing to have taught at Rice University, which is, quite frankly, the preeminent university in Texas, and
Yeah.
many people say the Ivy League of the South, and it's a very prestige university, and I didn't want to bring any shame to it, and I'm really glad that we got to present hip hop culture in that way and have that message translate around the world. That those two things, hip hop and education, hip hop and college universities can come together and bring a deeper understanding of culture on both sides.
Well, the course was called, and they had it wrong online, but hip hop and religion, right? So
Yes,
what?
absolutely. It was a humanities course. So we taught hip hop and religion as forms of expression in America, for African American people post slavery. So for many people coming out of slavery, they either went to the juke joint or the church. So it was either about reclaiming the body and the mind,
Mhm.
or reclaiming the actual physicality, reclaiming their physicality. It's very hard to explain in a truncated sense, but music and religion have always been not only forms of entertainment, but also education and places of education for African Americans. Some of the earliest readings of slaves in America were the Bible, and very, very often the only Black people allowed to have books with written words were preachers and pastors. And so that was where many Black people would go to get information secretly, because the pastor would not only read Bibles, but he would read newspapers and different things. So they would get a lot of information that way. And that continues to this day. A lot of people go for a deeper understanding of how the world operates on a daily basis. They get that deeper understanding through religion. And in modern times, it's really not even something that is solely about the Black experience. But for Black
Mhm.
Americans specifically, homes of and houses of religion and spirituality have always been where they have gone to commune and learn more about themselves and the world they live in. Music is the same thing. Hip hop culture has given a lot of people a deeper understanding of communities of culture in this world, specifically in modern times. And it's a window into a lot of things that people really didn't understand that existed. But Black musicians had talked about police brutality for years, and very few people took it seriously or even acknowledged it, until the Rodney King incident, where people could actually see police officers beating on a Black man. So, not to get too deep into it and get away from our general discussion, but those two things have a lot more in common and in sync,
Mhm.
than many people know, and our class was actually a way of educating people about that.
Well, no, it actually it's fascinating. It's gone in a different direction than I would have anticipated just by what I had seen online. It I, to me, the word religion is a little formal, but does spirituality play a role in your life? Was
Oh, without question, without question. I consider myself very deeply centered. I believe religion helps that, having a connection to a higher power, by design, makes you live a more selfless life. I've been given so many great things in life through my career, my travels. I've seen so much, I've done so much, I've met so many great people, and I just can't believe that that's all on me, right? Like I'm an okay guy. I'm cool to be around, but there are things that have happened in my life where it has to be someone else or something else pulling those strings together. And I believe that. I believe not only is there a higher power guiding me, but I believe also that there's ancestral power behind what I do and what I represent. And I keep those things in mind when I move through this world. I want to be the best representation of myself that I can be, so that when people see me, if they don't see many people like me, that they can have a better understanding of people like me, and for those that know me, that they can see a truer sense of who I am. And I try to be as consistent as possible. I try to be the same person no matter when or where people see me or meet me, and having a very strong spiritual base, keeping me centered, really doesn't allow for a lot of room to be a different version of myself. And
Mhm.
I just try to live a life of example, a life that people can look at and be like, yeah, that's kind of a way that I would want to live. And that's only because I've seen people live lives of example. I've had some great friends, some great family members, and some great examples of not only what to do, but also, unfortunately, what not to do. So I pay very, very close attention to the world I live in, and I constantly think of how I want to be seen in this world. And of course, I can't, if I do anything out here that, that's counter to who I truly am, I got to answer to the wife when I get home. And I'm not trying to hear that.
You know how to behave. Well,
Yeah.
I think it shows you have a very positive energy about you, and the world, the music world in general. I think fame can be fleeting, right? There are a lot of quick success stories that go away. You have maintained not only your respect and fame in the rap world, in the music world. You've endeared yourself to Houstonians. You're entrepreneurial. Father, grandfather. You've got all these amazing roles, and to your point, they're all very commendable, each on their own. And you take the sum together, it's something. It really is. Did you think you would have when you were having your like when Trill became the success it did, the album? Did you think you would see yourself this far into the future, this
I- I'll
successful,
I'll be
and
very, very
I
honest.
don't
I
want to make
can
your ego sound insane, but this well liked and respected. I think that maybe is the key word. You
I think
got a lot of respect.
I think, to be very honest, that I didn't even prepare to live this long. Just being very frank and honest and transparent. I didn't even prepare to live this long because I didn't have many examples of people living
Mhm.
long and fruitful lives. Um, but I did have a few. I did have a few, and I paid close attention to them. And the best thing I learned was it's all about your intention. Like you can put in there are a lot of people in this world that put in a lot of hard work and they have dreams just like you and I. And unfortunately, everybody's life doesn't come together in the way that they may have wanted it to shape out. I'm one of the few people who's chased after multiple dreams and watched them come true. So for me to walk around and feel sorry for myself, even in my worst, lowest moments. I cannot allow myself to think that that's what my life is because it's a very small blip on a long timeline. And I've lived long enough to know that these things tend to work themselves out. And even if they don't work themselves out, you still got to keep pushing. You still got to keep going. Life goes on. And I know a lot of people with a lot of money that are very unhappy. They're very alone. They're very depressed, and their lives are very dark. And I know people who get up at 6 in the morning and work till 7 at night, and they come home and they play with the kids, and they're tired, but their lives are fulfilled, right? So it's really about what it is you're chasing. And as a young kid, with no responsibilities, yeah, I chased for self fulfillment. Most people would, but once I decided that I wanted to be responsible for my woman and for this family, and quite frankly, on a larger scale, for the music I was putting out and the culture I was representing, I had to kind of repurpose a lot of things. I had to reprioritize a lot of things, not just for myself, but for people coming after me. I thought about the sacrifices that several people had made before me for me to understand what life was really about. And I wanted to make sure that operating in a space of idolatry and superficiality, I didn't want that to be what people remembered about me, you
Mhm.
know? I've got young people who are looking at me in my family, outside of my family, and I want to be a very real reflection of what someone would need to be in order to live a fulfilled life. It's not about selling the records, the concerts, or the money about that. It's about being consistent. It's about being confident. It's about being someone that people can depend on. That's really all it's ever had to been because everyone I looked up to, they were not rich, they were not famous, they were not celebrities, and they were not celebrated in any way, but they were hardworking, they were respectful, they were humble people, and they were grateful and gracious people. That's really all I want to be. And if that lends itself to everything that I've been given in life, then that's the best message I can send to people. I've always just wanted to be kind to everybody. Now, everyone I've been kind to has not reciprocated that kindness. But for those that have, it's been in multitudes, and it's been extremely effective in getting me to where I need to go in life. I'm very grateful for everything I have right now. And I don't think I could have been given a better life than I'm living right now.
Well, I would imagine you've been a role model to many and continue to be. You definitely have leadership qualities. You really do. You've always been so
Thank you.
kind to us when we worked together, and I thought it was so nice that you said yes to our request for an interview. I've wanted to talk to you more than that one time we met, just because I kind of think you do have a fascinating. You have a lot of layers. Of expertise. And I guess above it all, I was attracted to this positive energy you put out. You really do, Bun.
Thank
It's
you.
a pleasure
Thank
to know you and watch your success in Houston. Houston loves you, and it's so easy to see why.
Look, let's make the next time we talk, make it extremely informal. Next time you're in Houston, just reach out, come by and have a burger. And let's
Well, now
just
I'm
share some.
craving one since you.
I tend to do that to people. I can't say I tend to do that to people. But I used to watch guys like Aaron Franklin talk about brisket, and Chris Shepard talk about dumplings, and Ronnie Killen talk about sausage and smoked meats and all of these things with such passion. I was like, you know what? If I ever have food, I got to make sure I talk about it with passion like these guys. And I realized in the moment I didn't even have to plan talking like it, because when you find something new to gravitate to, and you find something that you've fallen in love with, I get up in the morning, I want to read things, I want to learn things, I want to talk to people, I want to go places, I want to do everything I can to make this company the best company it could possibly be, not for me but for everybody else, my staff, my team, my customers, everybody. I want to make sure that we give them the best food possible. If I do that, every reward that I could possibly want comes behind it.
Well, you definitely do that. And I think another fun testament to that, all the high profiles, you never know who's going to be in Trill.
No, we're very, very lucky. I've got some great friends that I've sewn into a lot of people, and I've done a lot of people favors, and especially in the music industry. But it doesn't always reciprocate with music. Like, a lot of these guys have different energy. Having somebody like DJ Khaled, who's arguably the best spokesman in the world right now, right, promote your burgers for you. I can't pay him what
Yeah.
a Wendy's could pay him. I can't pay Travis Scott what McDonald's pay him. So, but I've got a couple of favors I can call in every now and then, and they've lent themselves to some great promotion and marketing for a company that benefits more people than just me.
Well, it's well deserved, and I wish you more and more continued success. I look forward to the Trill Tenders.
Yes, that's what we got to do next time you come to Houston. When you come
Okay,
by, and I'll make sure we get you some tenders. You got to try them.
you got it. Thank you so
All right.
much, Bun. Have
Thank
a
you for
great
having
weekend.
me.
Sure. Well, I hope you enjoyed hearing from Bun B as much as I did. I had trouble finding any really in-depth interviews with him online, and I meant it when I said the first time I met him, he's someone I wanted to interview again. Just a fascinating man, and he just walks with this beautiful smile about life. At least that's how it seems to me, and I could tell when I met him. He was a super nice man, and I hope you enjoyed hearing from him as much as I did. Definitely try Trill Burgers if you haven't, and we'll be looking for Trill Tenders. All good stuff. Have a great day, everyone. Till next time, cheers to good taste.
Get social with us. Follow us on Instagram at Goodtaste TV.